Yo, what's up, y'all? It's the MMA Analyst here to do my review, my recap for UFC 101. Whoa. That's all I gotta say. Whoa. I don't know what's on rape.com. I've never been to the website. I don't know if it exists, but I'm sure it does. But I guarantee you the front page has something to do with what happened to Forrest Griffin. Whoa. My boy basically, he called me up right after the fight. He was like, possibly one of the biggest slaps of all time. UFC 101, like I don't know if I said it in my video, but I know I said it before the fight to a bunch of people I know. There are two fan bases, or like two demographics, that will be very upset after this fight, after this card. Number one, first and foremost, the Forrest Griffin hopers, because that's all this was. It was Forrest Griffin hope that the underdog could overcome a beast. And second, the BJ Penn haters. They definitely were hoping and wishing and praying that BJ Penn, wasn't that good anymore, and that anybody could beat BJ Penn and Kenny Florian could kill the master. Well, absolutely wrong. The rest of the card, terrible, horrible, just the worst. Honestly, worse than like any average fight night card, worse than the fight night card coming up, just terrible. I'll run through it quickly just because I'm supposed to do that, you know what I mean? I'm supposed to, so let's see. Jesse Lennox beated Villafor. Soteropoulos. You know how many times I say, like, I don't mean to be disrespectful to these dudes, but I say, like, I don't want to see certain people fight just because they were on the TV show and just because they, were able to take a punch or, they were able to not get beat as bad. Like, George Roop is terrible. He is absolutely terrible. I was with somebody who said this guy's one of the, like, talent-wise, one of the worst people that he's ever seen on a card. His ground, like Soteropoulos, yeah, he's got good jiu-jitsu. Cool, fine. This guy was passing the guard, just slicing through, like, so easy. Like, it was just so disgusting watching that fight. Like, was that really the shortest, best fight on the undercard? That was disgusting. Roop was throwing these horrible knees. Like, I don't really remember what one Roop is, but I'm pretty sure he was the tall, lanky guy who was supposed to go out there and get his ass whooped by somebody, but instead he went out there and, like, fought hard and got punched a whole lot in the face, and everybody found out he had a chin, and he was more durable than they had initially. Get out of here, man. And I don't even want to say no disrespect here. Like, just... No, this is horrible. This is a horrible fighter, and I shouldn't be watching that on a card that somebody paid for. Alright, anyways, Dan Kramer lost to Matt Riddle. Talis Latis lost to Alessio Sakara. These were all decisions, by the way. I did mention that there's going to be a lot of decisions on this card. I guess Talis Latis is getting booed again. And then John Howard defeated Tamden McCrory via split decision. On the undercard, I picked Howard, I picked Riddle, I picked Soteropoulos, so I went 3 for 5 on the undercard. Whatever. Main card, you had Pellegrino unable to pass Josh Neer's open guard. Josh Neer unable to stand to his feet. He thought he was in Japan. He thought he could win fights off his back. He thought it was Aoki, whatever, great. Kendall Grove, Almeida. Kendall Grove, really, man? Like, Almeida, I'm glad dude won. Like, I was like, I hope Almeida can win. I'm not going to pick him to win, but I hope he can win. He can... Like, is that really your stand-up? After... I mean, we know you know jiu-jitsu. We know you know jiu-jitsu. Is there not somebody that you could go to that could help your stand-up be more than this? He got one good shot in. He got some takedowns. He won the fight. I'm glad he won. You know what I mean? Kendall Groves is like, his punches are so weak. He's afraid to punch. He's got height, reach, but no power. Everything he does is slow. I don't know what's going on. Whatever. Amir Sadallah, whatever, man. I mean, it was definitely an issue with Dan Miragliotta, you know, one of the worst referees in MMA. Heck, in any sport. But from what I can see in this one, you know, I can't really blame him all that much. He was standing directly behind Johnny Hendricks, who had dropped Amir Sadallah. Amir Sadallah was on all fours. From where, at least from what I saw, it looked like Miragliotta was not really able to see the face of Amir Sadallah. I'm not sure if that would have changed anything, but I can understand why he would have jumped in there. Because if you could only see his legs were kind of doing like unconscious people movements. But whatever, man. Johnny Hendricks went out there. He won that fight. Congratulations, Johnny Hendricks. Congratulations, Leonidas. Shane Nelson versus Aaron Riley. Man, this card was terrible. It was really bad. It was really, really bad. Just terrible. That's what I got to think about that fight. And then we get down to business. I'm sorry it even took this long. I shouldn't even have took that long. I should have just said F it, but I'm supposed to say something about it, so I said it. Now let's get down to the nitty gritty. Oh, what a pity. Anderson Silva's a monster. I don't know when I said that before. I remember doing the shaking, and I remember holding the M for a while and making my fist ball up, but I don't know who it was. It might have been Lyoto Machida, but he's a beast. Whoa. Anderson Silva came out, and he did his thing, you know, pawn, just chilling, you know, moving, you know, whatever. Doing his thing, just until he decided that it's time to get down. And let me say something real quick. Forrest Griffin and most fighters come out there, and I understand pawing. Like, Anderson Silva will do this, you know, and they'll time you, but he doesn't ever try and hit you with this. You know what I mean? That he'll paw. He'll move, but he never tries to hit you. He never tries to hit you with one of those weak ass jabs. The big thing, like, you to look at the top guys pound for pound, you know, Fedor Emelianenko, you're looking at Anderson Silva. Oh, we'll get to this later, by the way. And like Lyoto Machida and stuff. The champions, these big dogs, they don't come out there and try and hit you with soft shots. If Forrest Griffin was throwing these fake little sparring punches that, like, will scare nobody. Like, I spar, and they say, you know, when you're sparring, there's no use throwing a punch at the dude's shoulder because he's not going to respect your punch. There's no use throwing a little jab at his face because he's just going to be able to take it and come back with a counter that's not realistic. Anderson Silva's been in wars. I'm not even talking in the cage. I'm not talking about in the ring. I'm talking about just back in the days of shoot box when these dudes used to try and knock each other out on a daily basis. And when you got somebody like Forrest Griffin who has no power in his hands, and he's throwing just weak, he's like not just pawn, but he's throwing weak jabs. He's throwing weak head kicks. You know, Dana White, Joe Rogan says he's going to come up with a 1-2 head kick. He threw a 1-2 head kick from across the cage. No threat. If he would have left his hands down and let him get hit with the 1-2 head kick, he wouldn't have got knocked out. He would have got pushed back maybe. Like, these guys who come out here and, like, throw these little fake punches, you're not doing anything. You know, Fedor walks up to people and throws bombs. Lyoto will fake a lot. He'll do a lot of feints. But when it comes down to hitting you, bow, step to the side, bow. No soft fake punches. None of these fake softies, man. But these other dudes, man, it's the vast majority, they come out here. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to hit you with all these soft ones until I can, you know, really hit you with... Man, start throwing punches. Start throwing real kicks. He threw a soft-ass kick. Anderson Silva caught that. Boom, he's got that piston in his arm. It kind of just turns out and comes out, pop. But he didn't really do it hard. He was like, caught it, get off me. And then, dude fell on the ground. Anderson jumped on him, knocked him down again. And then Forrest stood up. He was kind of smiling like, oh, man, what you doing, Doug? Why? Come on, man. Oh, shoot, I'm in trouble. And then Anderson was like, come on. And I was like, it's over. It's over, y'all. It's about to happen. It's about to go down. And dude came through and was just putting his hands down, like, hit me with them soft-ass punches. Just moving. And the most impressive thing to me wasn't the one that knocked him down and ended the fight. It was the one before that, because he was like, out, get off my nuts. And then he ducked down real low and then came back up and went, bow. Honestly, Anderson might have threw like 10 punches this whole fight, but everyone landed. He said, caught the leg, bow, get off my nuts. Then, the next one, threw a few little whatevers, knocked him down. He said, get off my nuts, bow, knocked him down again. Then he did the whole let me help you up thing, which if you're a fighter and someone tries to help you up and you're going to get your ass beat and you're in the middle of ass whooping, F all that stuff. You be like, get the fuck off me, man. You better whoop my ass properly and stop trying to disrespect me. So he said, let me try and be nice. Just utter blatant. That ain't respect. That's the opposite. He said, let me knock you down and help you back up and knock your ass down again. And then he said, step back. It's like the new, what's his name? It's like the new, what's that new? Soldier Boy. 1, 2, ah. 1, 2, ah. He said, 1, 2, ah. And that was it. He literally did a dance. 1 step, 2 step, lean back. He just 2 steps back, lean, and then we're going to call this rotate. Lean, rotate. Lean. Switch it up just for the dance. I'm going to do this in the club. Come on. Come on. Come on. Just, I'm telling you, it's crazy. And Forrest was like, leave me alone. Leave Forrest Griffin alone. Look, I'm not helping my case right here. Like, Forrest Griffin sees this. Anybody ever sees this thing will get real mad at me. I'm never going to get the interview. Probably never get anybody in Extreme Couture. I don't know what the repercussions of this video are, but I got to keep it real. That was absolutely, I got to say what everybody's thinking. I mean, if they're saying it, then I got to say it my way. That was the biggest rape of all time in MMA. There's many people that got punched in the face real hard and knocked out, kicked in the head, blacked out. We just had Dan Henderson do a freaking flying elbow drop. These are rapes that we have been seeing. We've seen George St. Pierre take people down and just control them. We saw Brock Lesnar put dude in a high school, grade school headlock and just bust his face up. Made him look like the Elephant Man. We have seen beatdowns. We have seen rapes, but none like this. Dude put his hands down. At one point in the not so distant history, Anderson Silva was the middleweight champion and Forrest was the light heavyweight champion at the same time. And you got this dude who's able to whoop on this dude, and this dude walks around at 240 and he's the champ, busting up Quentin's legs, choking out Shogun, and he just came in there and said, get off my nuts, get off my nuts, get off my nuts, get them off. Y'all, stop it. Now, I'm going to address a few things. Number one, Anderson Silva, number 1 pound for pound. I said it. You know what I mean? I said it. That's right. I said it. Fedor's number 1 fan. But I keep it real. I try and keep it real. You know what I mean? I try to keep it real. Only time I don't keep it real, I'm not even going to say that because y'all can't really know when I'm not keeping it real. But there is one time, in one situation where I do not keep it real. I consistently keep it very, very, maybe not unreal, but it's just like, it ain't using my head. I'm using down here. But other than that, I try and keep it real. And Anderson Silva is number 1 pound for pound. This dude's cleaned out the middleweight division, move up to 205, and really You know, he could get a title shot tomorrow and nobody will complain. You know, he can fight Rampage and whoop him up real quick. He'll whoop on Rashad. Chuck Liddell, we really gonna talk about what Chuck Liddell, what can Chuck Liddell do for you? You know, what can you do for Chuck Liddell? Call him up and tell him, do not ever take that fight. Who at the light heavyweight division could beat him? We talk about Lyoto Machida, right? That's the fight everybody wants to see. Never gonna happen. You know, on the last fight, man, I'm gonna switch this up a little. On the last, on the post-fight press conference, they were like, Dana, what do you think about Lyoto Machida versus Anderson Silva? Dana White standing right here. He's right here. He's like, that's a fight everybody wants to see, and I think I can make it happen. And then, like, right beside him, like, right there, was smiling Anderson Silva. And he said, he is my friend, he is my brother, and that fight will never happen. No, never. No. Here's the mic. And that was it. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to get into it, but it's not going to happen. So, I don't know what that means. I mean, hopefully my boy handles the situation in the next fight. Lyoto Machida is not the champion anyways, and then Anderson can just fight all these other dudes and get a title shot and see what happens with that. But my lord, Anderson Silva's a beast. He's a monster. He ain't even trying. He's not even trying. He's having an easier time at 205 with these slow big ass dudes. These smaller 185s that can wrestle and can whatever and take him down. Those guys are giving him a harder time. And I'm not talking about Talis Latest, and I'm not talking about Kote, because he could have at any given time been like, get off my nuts. He could have done that with them too, but instead he was just like, can't touch me. Can't touch me. And he just did this. He never did the final punch, but he just did this the whole fight. Chilling. And one of them still broke his damn knee. What? Y'all, I don't want to hear anybody. We're talking about Anderson Silva, who could potentially, in the very near future, okay, be the light heavyweight champion and the middleweight champion at the same time. I believe he's just going to drop the middleweight title. I think he's going to be like, F the middleweights. Y'all can do what you want. I'm going to fight these big boys. I think he's really going to do that. Goodbye to the middleweight, and it'll be great. I mean, really, do we really want to see Dan Henderson try and fight him again, or Nate Marquardt try and fight him again? I don't want to see any of that. You know what I mean? You didn't get Kung Lee in there. You know what I mean? You didn't get like Melvin Manhoef, or just somebody who, striking-wise, could have a chance. You know, whatever. Middleweights, go do your thing. I'll watch you guys. You guys got a pretty half-decent situation going on. Marquardt, Maya, you know, you got a lot of dudes coming up. It's all good. I love y'all middleweight. Do your thing. But we don't need Anderson anymore. Let Anderson go fight some bigger dudes. Let him whoop on some light heavyweights. Let him fight, you know, John Jones or something. Now, you know, John Jones is like, I don't want that fight. No. Oh, hell no. John Jones is like, I just want to be the next dude. I don't need to fight the dude right now. I don't want to hear anybody talk about George St. Pierre ever again. Ever. This guy could be the 205-pound champion, and we're talking about the 170-pound champion who's injured till January. He's gonna lose weight. He's gonna lose weight because he can't do something on his hips. His hips are messed up. Come on, it's not disrespect to say use your brain. George St. Pierre is 170 pounds. Anderson Silva is whooping on 205s. 205s who walk around at 240. Okay? No, it's not going down. If it does go, like, George St. Pierre, let him just be a champ. Let him be a monster in his own right, in his own division. Leave him. Don't ask him to do something that's going to ruin his career. Because Anderson Silva busting up on that face with kicks and knees and punches, that will make a dude scared forever. He's like the Scarecrow in Batman. He puts that little spell on you, and oh God. Do not fight Anderson Silva, GSP. I am a fan of yours. Don't do it. Just do your thing. Don't let these dudes sucker you into fighting somebody you shouldn't be fighting. Don't do it. Also, do not talk to me. Don't write messages in the MMA Analyst little section where we talk about. Don't talk about a fix. Don't talk about a fix, okay? If you're talking about a fix right now, all right, and I don't mean disrespectful to people who are talking about fixes, and I also don't want to be disrespectful to people who are actually mentally handicapped, but you are retarded if you think that it's a fix. Let me just explain something to you real quick. Number one, when the 4-1 underdog loses, it's not a fix. Number two, the way fixes work is for money. That's why you fix. You don't. They wanted Anderson Silva to look good again, so they told Forrest Griffin to go out there and have the most humiliating beatdown of all time. When things are fixed, they look fake, and the guy who got beat goes through as little because it's a choice. When you get your ass whooped in a real fight, it's not a choice. It's like you try to protect yourself and you get your ass whooped. When it's your choice, it's like, yo, listen, I don't really need to get my face broke. I don't need to get my nose broke. It's kind of like Rich Franklin, right? Rich Franklin would never be like, oh, yeah, let's fix it. Break my nose. That'll really sell it. You know what I mean? They'll be like, oh, I'm hurt. I'm so hurt. And they fall down, and then they act hurt. Then they get up, they walk home, and it's all good. But the most biggest thing, is the biggest thing behind the fix is the money. The money. Now, if Anderson Silva went out there and, threw a punch and twisted on the ground and said, oh, my elbow or my shoulder hurts. Oh, I can't fight anymore. Well, then you might want to think, Anderson Silva, could somebody have put, $1 million down on Forrest, knowing, that he's, paying 4-1 and that I'm going to get $4 million back? That's when fixes happen. Not when the heavy favorite wins. Never been a fix where the heavy favorite wins. Because you don't need there to be a fix. You fix it for the money. You don't fix it like, oh, we really need somebody to go out there. Anyways, that is all I'm going to talk about that. That's it. Y'all talk about fixes are retarded. I don't care if you watch the videos and you decide to not watch them anymore, because I don't need retards watching the video. I'm not trying to talk to retarded people. You know what I mean? I don't talk to retarded people when I call them on the phone, like, hey, man, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm retarded. You know what I mean? I don't talk to those dudes. I don't need to talk to you here either. If you're saying right now that you think it's a fix, unsubscribe. I'm going to be the first one to ever request. Unsubscribe from my videos. Please do not watch them anymore, because I try and talk logic, and these videos are not for you. Now, if you thought it was a fix, and then I'm telling you this stuff, and then you're like, you know what? I never looked at it that way. I apologize for coming off a little harsh. If you do change how you feel, and you realize you may be a little off, and you would still like to watch the videos, and you do accept my apology, then continue to watch the videos. But if after I'm done all this, you're a little upset because I'm disrespecting you, and you still think it could have been a fix, you still think that Forrest Griffin, the 4-1 underdog, getting his ass whooped in the most embarrassing way in history, that he would agree to that with no financial gain, his career absolutely hurt from it. It'd be different if he went out there and got Muay Thai like Rich Franklin, but he got embarrassed. So, anyways, if you think, oh man, what is this guy talking about? This guy's an ass. Please, I hope, please unsubscribe. Please, we need room for some other folk. But that's all I'm going to say about that. Overall, Anderson Silva, let's cover this. I just ranted for a while. It's worth it. Number one, pound for pound. Number one, Anderson Silva. Number two, do not ever bring up George St. Pierre against Anderson Silva again. Number three, it was not a fix. Number four, rape.com. Again, I'm not going to look because it's probably going to give me a virus, or, my wife's going to look through the URL and be like, what's he looking at rape.com for? We getting a divorce. You are disgusting. So I can't do all that. But I guarantee that somewhere on it is a gif of Forrest Griffin running out of the ring and running all the way across the country and getting that box of chocolates. Run, Forrest, run. Main event. I talked too long about that fight for this main event to have much talk. BJ Penn, like I said, until he loses at 155, in the recent 6-7 years, I don't want to hear about kill the master. Kill the what? You ain't Ronin. You talking about Ronin just because your homeboy read a Frank Miller comic book. Kill the master. What the hell is wrong with you, man? I'm going to beat him skill for skill. So you came out, you wouldn't even throw kicks, wouldn't throw punches, and erase. Bring it back. Scene. Check this out. Kenny Florian's game plan was one of the most flawed game plans of all time. What was his game plan? His game plan was this, or at least this was a thought process. BJ Penn always gasses. I will make him gas. When he gasses, I will beat him. So then they said, well, how are we going to gas BJ Penn? We will take him down. If we don't take him down because he has the best takedown defense in MMA, but if we don't take him down, we will push him up against the cage and tire him out from takedown attempts. By the time the third round comes around, he should be tired, and then that's when we should, I don't know, do something. Wrong, okay? Because he didn't gas. And now your whole game plan just went out the window. He's supposed to gas, he doesn't gas, now what do? You try and take him down 15 times, push it up into his abdomen, trying to get that air out, trying to make him tired. That's all you're doing. We know what you're doing, Kenny. Trying to tire him out. We don't. It's not trying to tire him out. 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 And it doesn't get tired. And then after all that, I'm gonna beat him skill for skill. Well, why don't you go out there and box him? Why don't you bust him in the face? Why don't you use your kicks? Why don't you use your reach? Why don't you use your striking power? Why don't you finish fights? And Kenny Florian is a very good fighter. And I do not, unlike the Roop situation, I do not mean to be disrespectful here, but he talked a lot of doo-doo that a lot of people, including myself, knew he was not going to be able to pull off. Skill for skill? You talk about jiu-jitsu? I mean, this dude's 1996, 3 years jiu-jitsu black belt, going over to the biggest tournament in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the Mundials, and winning the black belt division in his weight class after 3 years. And at this point, I don't even know if you started Jiu-Jitsu, and he's only 19. He's the first American to do this, and you're talking skill for skill? Anyways, so after your game plan completely crumbles, like, oh snap, he's not getting tired. I know he's in his corner going, he's not getting tired, man. Frick. They're like, yo, man, whatever you do, just keep trying to tire him out. But, man, he's not getting tired. I maybe should throw some kicks. Nah, man, just keep trying to tire him out. Dude, shouldn't I just tire him out? All right, man, I'm going to go out there and try and tire him out. And then BJ Penn said, this is enough, and said, this is what I do. When I see somebody's broke, when I see somebody's whatever, that's when I turn it on. BJ Penn was like, you want to know how to do a takedown? It looks something like this. Took him down half guard. From half guard, Kenny Florian's got very good jiu-jitsu, so the fact that BJ Penn was just able to be like, mount was beautiful. Got the mount, got the back, got the mount, got the back. We just jumped forward a little bit. Try to get the rear naked choke. You know how he likes to get that flexible ass leg and block the arm down. So Kenny knew that. He was like, no, I can't do that. I got to keep this arm up here. And then BJ was like, okay. Clack, 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 busting up dude's side. I don't know if you know how a heel feels right there, and I'll be honest, I don't either. But I do know how a heel looks. Oh, that's a dirty ass shoe, y'all. I do know how a heel looks, and it's like a really bally, meaty, muscly part of the foot, and it's hard. And if somebody just put that bow, 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 bow all up in your side, you'd be like, no, I won't. I'm not going to let him do that. And then he starts clack, clack, clack. You're like, oh, snap, look, go, choke. That was it. He put that in quick and was like, close, tap. Skill for skill? Dude, skill for skill, the way you talk, you're supposed to come out there, you're supposed to first beat him up on the feet, bop, 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 bop. You're supposed to, soften up the face, soften up the face, soften up the face, soften up the face. Then you're supposed to kick him in the ribs, pop, 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 pop. Kick him in the legs, pop, pop. Then you're supposed to go in, clinch him, hit him with the elbows, hit him with the elbows. We're talking skill for skill, right? So this is what we're expecting. Hit him with those elbows. You know Kenny can flow. Floor ain't got elbows. Hit him with the elbows, pow, pow. Then you're supposed to go dirty boxing. You're supposed to get that over the top. Then you're supposed to do the clinch wrestling against the cage, all up against the cage, getting the double underhooks, you know, fighting and all that. Then you're supposed to take him down. Then you're supposed to get inside mount, pass the guard. Then you're supposed to get in mount him up, pound him out. Then he's supposed to go, oh, don't do that. And then you're supposed to tap him out. That's skill for skill. Even if you did win a fight, tire him out. And then by the fourth round, BJ Penn's like, oh man, I'm so tired. And then you take him down and tap him out by strikes. That ain't skill for skill. And you didn't do that anyways. Whole card was garbage, but those two fights were amazing. BJ Penn, number 1, 155. If you weigh in at 155 against BJ Penn, you are going to lose. As long as it's not 2002, and as long as your name's not Jens Pulver in 2002. Other than that, if you weigh in at 155 and you're fighting BJ Penn and you're in the UFC, you will lose. If you're outside of the UFC, you might have a chance. There are some guys out there, Aoki, who, although striking-wise, I don't care what he did with his little kicks, whatever, he get whooped striking-wise. And then ground game, BJ Penn's better than Aoki as well. But at least Aoki can pull guard and do whatever we're not trying to work some stuff and at least be threatening off his back. What am I supposed to say now? Miguel Torres. Y'all want me to talk about Miguel Torres? What's there to say? Let me just bring something up real quick. I'm on Wikipedia Miguel Torres real quick. Miguel Torres, American mixed martial artist. This guy was killing people. In his first 2 years, he fought 20 times. He didn't have a loss until he was 20-0. And that was in November 2003. He fought every month of 1 year almost. This ain't UFC, but it happens. So we might as well talk about it. Then he won a whole bunch of craziness again, but he never really fought anybody worth mentioning. Like if you go to, and I'm not saying anything bad, because if you fight 30 times, it doesn't matter who you're fighting. You should probably lose one of them just because one of them surprised you, just because you got complacent, just because you got a little lax in your abilities. But he didn't do that. He fought his ass off like a champ. But I'm just saying, if you look at who he fought between when he started in the year 2000 and when he joined the WEC in 2007, and you just look on, you can only find these guys in Fight Finder. These guys are all no names and all in America. When all the really light, really good guys, are Japanese. Anyways, so finally he goes WEC. Beats Chase Beebe. Chase Beebe's a good dude at the weight class. Beats him. Submission, guillotine choke. Then he beats Yoshihiro Maeda. That's a good fight. That's a good win. Then he beats Manny Tapia. That's a good fight. That's a good win. Then he beats Mizugaki. That's a good fight. That's a good win. So, we've got 33-1 when he really starts handling business and he starts beating everybody. But the whole thing is, it's not the same thing. Like, when people say pound for pound, they put him at number 5. That's because of, what he could be possibly. Not because of everything that he's done. You got guys like Anderson Silva who are beating the top guys and, have been beating him for a while. You got Fedor, they say, he did it 3 years ago. Whatever. He did it 3 years ago. He did it last year. He'll do it next year. So, Miguel Torres, He lost to Brian Bowles. Brian Bowles is now 7-0. He's undefeated. Watch him. But Brian Bowles is going to have to fight Wagner Fabiano. And he trains with Jose Aldo, who's going to fight Mike Brown. And I think he's going to beat Mike Brown. WC's about to have their own little 1-2 Brazilian punch like the UFC does with Lyoto Machida, Anderson Silva. I'm just saying. Miguel Torres, is he on the top 5 pound for pound list anymore? I don't know. Can he really be? And what happened to Frank? What happened to Frank Mir? I don't know who watched this. What happened to Frank? Miguel Torres is so-and-so and this and that, and you got to understand that he's so good off his back, and he's so good here, and he's so great, and I worship him, and he's the greatest thing ever, and I love him. I just love me some Miguel Torres. Miguel Torres is oh snap! He just got knocked out. That dude didn't say anything for like 40 seconds. And then dude was like, Frank, walk us through. And I swear to God, he sounded like he was crying. He got hit, and Bowles did a real good job. He went for he sounded hurt. He sounded hurt. He sounded like Miguel Torres was like Jesus, and he found out that the Da Vinci Code was real. You know what I mean? Like, oh damn, everything I believe in has just crumbled around me. You know what I mean? Like, he was a good old school, Catholic boy, and found out, damn, a priest is raping people. Like, he really, everything he believed in. You would have thought he was like in the KKK and found out Obama's the president. Like, he just was hurt. He was more hurt about this fight than his own fight. Heck, he was hurt more about this fight than Miguel Torres was about this fight. You know what I mean? I think when Miguel Torres went unconscious, and Frank Mir went unconscious, and he went unconscious too. I really believe it. MMA, y'all, it's important. Peace.